Welcome to Blackwash History, formerly the coin, Black History on the Other Side. Although the name has changed, the mission remains the same for the podcast, is to unveil untold stories of not commonly known Black history. Stories that shape our understanding of the past, present, and future. So today, I'm diving into a topic that's often overlooked, but incredibly important of how we engage with history. Today, I want to talk about the concepts of whitewashed and blackwashed history. Think about the history you were taught in school, or the stories you've come across in books and documentaries. Have you ever wondered why certain events are highlighted while others are glossed over? Or why some figures are hailed as heroes while the contributions of others are barely mentioned? These questions bring us to these two key terms, whitewashed and blackwashed history. Let's break down what each means and why understanding them matters so much. Let's start with whitewash history. This refers to the portrayal of historical narratives that center the experiences, achievements, and perspectives of white individuals, often to the exclusion of non-white voices. In this version of history, significant stories of struggle, contributions, and resilience from marginalized groups are either minimized or erased altogether. Think about a time back to your school days. How many times were you taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America? To me, that's a prime example of whitewash history, because it frames Columbus as a hero without addressing the catastrophic impact the arrival had on indigenous peoples. It's not just about the omission of facts. It's about reinforcing a story that benefits a certain narrative, one that maintains the status quo. But why is this a problem? Well, whitewashing leads to generations growing up with an incomplete or skewed understanding of the past. It underplays the true scale of systemic injustices, erasing the brutal realities of colonization and slavery, and leaving out the contributions and achievements of non-white communities. This affects not just how history is taught, but how we really understand present-day social structures and cultural identities. So now, let's turn the page and talk about blackwash history. This term refers to the retelling or framing of history in a way that amplifies and celebrates the contributions of Black individuals or groups. Blackwashing is often seen as a corrective response to the erasure found in whitewashed narratives. And it's about reclaiming a space in the historical record for voices that have been systemically silenced. And while this approach can be empowering and necessary for shedding light on overlooked figures and achievements, it's not without its debates. You see, critics argue that blackwashing can sometimes push the narrative too far, presenting stories in a way that distorts or simplifies complex historical truths. For instance, while it's important to recognize Black inventors' contributions to technological advancement, Focusing solely on them without acknowledging contributions or collaborations that they've had may blur the historical reality. But here's really the key point. Blackwash history often emerges as a reaction to whitewashing. It seeks to really kind of balance those scales, telling the stories that were silenced and to show that Black individuals just didn't experience history passively, that we have actively shaped it. So why does this all matter? Well, again, I think how we tell history directly impacts how we see ourselves and others in society. Whitewash history can sustain damaging stereotypes and prevent people from seeing the rich, diverse tapestry of Black achievements. And on the other hand, Blackwash history, while essential for reclaiming forgotten stories, I think it needs to stay grounded in historical accuracy to avoid skewing the full picture. A balanced historical narrative isn't about swapping one type of exclusion for another. It's about really enriching our understanding by recognizing the good, the bad, and the complex truth of the past. It's about including every voice that shaped history so that we can engage in a more nuanced dialogue about where we come from and ultimately, where are we going? Moving toward a balanced understanding of history, I think requires effort from educators, historians, and even us as learners. We need to recognize our own biases and question why stories are told and why others are not. Amplify diverse voices without overshadowing the collaborative and shared nature of many historical moments. And promote dialogue that embraces complexity instead of leaning into simple narratives. Remember, history isn't static. It evolves as new evidence is found and as we grow to value inclusion in our storytelling. The challenge and the beauty of history is that it's a living narrative. We can and should reclaim stories that were overlooked without forgetting the importance of balance and accuracy. Thanks for tuning in to Blackwash History, formerly The Coin, Black History on the Other Side. If you enjoyed this episode or found it thought-provoking, make sure to subscribe and share it with others who are passionate about understanding the full picture of our shared past. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep uncovering the stories that deserve to be told.